Hello everybody, today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be talking about how I painted this sunset and lighthouse picture painting. Now, to do it, I used a old canvas that I had, something that was lying around, and I didn't like what was on it, so I covered it up as best I could, covered it up with white and a couple other colors, and then I set to work. To get started, I needed a couple shades of blue, so I used two different shades of blue plus some purple just to get started with the sky. And because I was going to be building this in layers, I started with the sky first, and particularly the very top of the sky where it reaches up into the stars, this evening sky. So that hints the two different colors of blue. I'm using a thicker brush for this section just because here the sky is a little bit more thicker and it's going to fade into the background. Then I took some orange and some red and some yellow. So the sky is going to be broken up into three layers. You're going to have the blue at the top, you're going to have the yellow at the bottom where the sun is, and you're going to have this orange haze in the middle. So I'm working on blending this into three different regions of sky, as you'll see. Generally, I don't add it so thick, but because it's the sky where there's going to be nothing else behind this or covering it up really that much, I wanted this to be a thicker layer, thicker colors, a lot more bolder. The sky is going to be one of the main focal points of the painting, so I wanted it to really eye pop and stand out, especially in this sunset. And we see that nice orange barrier here. We got a little bit of yellow at the bottom where the sun was, and then this part is where the sun fades away and the dark of night starts to blur together with that red. They're supposed to supplement into each other. Also, don't want the colors to look like three bars. You know, one bar blue, one bar orange, one bar yellow. So I have like a little bit of a wave starting to take shape. Just because I wanted to add a little bit more lifelike and atmosphere. The sky isn't an even line. It does come in little bits of waves of color. switched over to a fan brush because once the thicker layers were on, I'm using this fan brush to kind of blend things in a little bit more. The thicker areas are in, now it's time to blend and dress it up to make it look a little nicer. Started to mix in little bits of purple in some areas because, again, the sky isn't just solid colors, but it's waves of multiple colors running into each other at different points. And the higher up it goes, the more you look at the night sky, it's a blend of not just blue, but also purples and blacks. Again, using that fan brush to try to add a little bit more shape to the sky, really giving off that wavy effect. I thought the wave effect would go nice with the water that I'm going to add at the bottom. Just finished up with the sky there, and now I'll be moving on. couple of different layers of blue with the thicker brush here, this thick 1-inch brush. Really tried to add in that heavy weight of the ocean. So for now, I'm just covering it in blue. Forget to flip your painting upside down just to make sure you really get all sides. So you might not see it in this picture, but I flipped it over so that way I can paint the bottom and let that dry as well, so it'll be nice and even. The first layer of blue ocean on. Now I'm going to quickly move on to the lighthouse itself. I'll be going back to the ocean later, but for now it's the lighthouse. So for the lighthouse, I drew it out with a white charcoal pencil, first drawing out exactly where I want things to be, and then I started painting it with the red. Some darker and lighter shadings to the red, just because I want to show the light of where the sun is coming from on the right side of the painting, which would mean the left side of it would be a little darker. with the white of the lighthouse. And since the lighthouse isn't, pristine clean white, I'm gonna add a little bit of some shading and effects to add some real nature to it. Net weathered effects. Start to draw the landscape that the lighthouse is sitting on. So it's going to include some rocks, some trees, a fence, just a couple of different things to show that this lighthouse isn't just floating out there, but actually attached to a massive land. Using a smaller brush just to get the finer details of the trees in, and then I'll add in the real effects later with a little bit of a thicker brush. lighter shades just to show where some of the rocks are going to be, because now I have to add in the rock face, but keep in mind where the lighting is coming from. It's coming from the right and also somewhat behind there, so it'll be somewhat lit, but not completely. ocean. And this time really detailing it, getting in the waves and lighting, really showing that this is a sunset on an ocean. So you got a lot of different things. You got the waves coming in, you also have the lighting and reflection going on. To begin, I got a lighter shade of blue going on. I also have some white, but again, we're going to be using the fan brush nearly entirely for the ocean and the waves better. Some darker colors because we're going to have the shadowing effect of the island or the part of the land that sticks out where the lighthouse is, and we're also going to have the effect of where the lighthouse itself is going to be reflected. So we're mixing that in with the lighter colors around it. Notice I'm not painting up and down, I'm painting from left to right, because here that's how the waves are coming in. They're not going to be coming straight down, they're going to be coming in from left to right, rolling in. Now we start to add the yellows and reds of the sunset coming in. Again, using the fan brush, going from left and right instead of up and down. Adding in these colors of the reds and yellows, and I'm adding them as if they're rolling with the waves themselves, because you wouldn't see them just sitting on the ocean, but you'd see as if in one big mass, but you'd see them dispersed intermittently, as if because of the way the waves reflect the light, they would be in some areas and darker in other areas. Also adding in that shading that comes on the side of the lighthouse, like I said before, just to really show that it's reflecting on, the sunset is reflecting on one side of the lighthouse, not on the whole thing entirely. Also adding in the fine details of, like I said, that railing that's going to go around the lighthouse, just to add some scale to the size and to add a little bit more of a human element. Here we go. This is our final product of how we painted the lighthouse over by the sunset. Thank you all for sticking with me and showing how I painted this whole process. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed painting with me. Thank you for watching, and my name is Alex Fever, and this is my art.